All right, I've stopped the car again to capture a thought, an emerging thought, a developing thought from the thought of the last 2 days. That the challenge that I'm having now in retirement isn't. I was describing it before as two things. One, missing my job. Two, missing my country, and particularly the activity, the vibrancy of Southern California. I think it's a little more different now. I'm listening to another podcast, this time with it's a technical podcast episode explaining how AI transformer architecture works, basically explaining the DeepSeek model and how they used multiple experts, nomenclature about it. And I was listening, trying to follow along, and I was realizing that the relatively young, 30-something man who was explaining this was like a runner, and I'm running along trying to keep up, and he's not only just outpacing me, he's way ahead of me, and I almost can't hear him anymore. And I suddenly realized, oh, it's Kurt, it's not just that you stopped your career, and it's not just that you're not in California, it's that I've grown beyond my prime for everything, right? I know this is going to sound like another me lamenting my age, and it may come across that way, but I don't think that's what it is. I think this is a reality check. I am old, and I am at the end of my career, and my capabilities, both physical and mental, are on a decline. Sure, there are those cases you can pick examples to say there's this, that, and the other person who were in their prime into their 70s or the 80s or whatever, and I acknowledge that. I'm not one of those. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try my best, but now it understands where a little bit of the emotion comes from, because it's like feeling yourself becoming irrelevant to the point. And the reason that helped, I was just coming down, another thought that brought that around. I'm just driving to the dump, and as I was going, there's a little retirement home. It's like an apartment building that's been converted into a retirement complex. There's that many old people here. They're just, putting them wherever they can now. And it's a good managed place. I mean, they have good people tending to them. And there was an old man walking slowly up the street with a nurse by his side, getting a little sun and air and exercise. And he looked, maybe, I give him 10 years on me, 70 at most. He certainly didn't look like he was over 70, but who knows? Anyway, his eye caught mine as I was driving past, and there was a flash of recognition, and I saw in his eyes also, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, a resignation, like he was beyond the other side of this thing that I'm feeling right now, which is like I'm realizing that my prime is over in so many ways, and I haven't reconciled myself to that. He was reconciled to it, and I realized I'll get there eventually. It doesn't mean my life is over, but it does mean a significant part of my life is over, and I have to let that go. But now I have to go to the dump.